Hello, I'm back in Terrain Builder. We're going to build on what we did last time, which is the idea of iterating layers. So, previously we have separated out our surface mask image and satmap image. So they're safe here in our QGIS GDT export folder. Those are the ones that we use to refresh from source. And what we did was copied those into our own editable multi-layer image files, so you can get really creative, and that's what I've done. So I've been just done a little bit of work on the set map. So we're going to work on this area, Avebury. This is the stone circle, older than Stonehenge, worth a visit. So I've just taken away the humanity a little bit. See on a excuse me, on a separate layer. So now I'll save, file, export as my satmap. Back to Terrain Builder, refresh content from source, and there's our slightly more blank canvas. I'm going to save it. Okay, so we've done the sat map, we've refreshed from source. You see how there's an edit, import cycle. Same with the surface mask, though we're not doing that again today. What we are going to do is the same sort of routine, but this time with the terrain itself. So that's what it looks like. These are minor hills. Now in a real terrain, clearly you'd see some interesting contours and shape to the land, give you a good idea of how your story's going to go, but we're pretty much flat here. So let's do something about that. Just bring back the sat map just so we remember what we're doing. We're going to make a henge, and we do that with Buldozer. Okay, so here we are in Buldozer. So yeah, there are key combinations to learn. Learn the key combinations. That's what most people will say. So learn Buldozer. I am going to draw myself. Do you see how Buldozer still has the old satmap image? So if you rebuild your layers and whatnot, it'll pick up the latest version. But while we work, right, okay, so I'm going to raise this stone circle. This is just for demonstration purposes. You would want to be way more accurate than this. And we need an entrance. Oh. Well, see what's going on there, don't you? And an exit. A bit more. Should have a bit more. So, really is a case of 4 or 5 key combinations. No worse than Alt-Tab or all those others that you use in your text editor. So we'll learn Buldozer. Okay, so that's quite different to how it was. So exit there. Now remember, we did it with shapes before, but this time it's the terrain. So file, export, terrain. We're in Maps Avebury, source, QGIS GTT export, which is where all your files and folders are. I'm going to overwrite it. Obviously you would want to take a backup first, just in case. Okay, so I've exported the terrain, and now I need to refresh content from source. So it's the height map that you're refreshing, and the height field is rebuilt every time you click on rebuild terrain. So you'll see there was some movement there, and if we look now at our height map, you'll see that there is clearly some activity there now. Okay, so let's save, and then the next thing we want to do is put it in a forest. So let's just have some reference so we can see what we're doing. Okay, so it's almost a repeat of what we did before, but this time we're going around something interesting, so it starts to build up, you know. Okay, so this is a shape layer, so I'm going to draw a shape. Add a polygon, and I mean, we're going quite coarse here. But the effect we're after is one of a scary forest or a scary area in the middle of a forest, so let's do it. Oh, I've gone wrong there. So I'm going to press escape. Let's just keep it simple, shall we? Okay. Save. Go to select mode. Select my shape and fill with objects. Give it a name. And we need to give it some trees. So let's do a mixed oak. I'm only picking these trees because they're all in the same place. We just want to fill the forest, and this will allow us to do it quickly for the sake of a demonstration. So there's one of them filled. Let's do the other one. And you see, I'm picking random trees. We want to make an example here. Okay, so that's. You notice that you can have more than one shape on a shape layer, and that'll all come into use when we start using Terrain Processor. But in my opinion, you don't want to start using Terrain Processor until you've got a good grasp of Buldozer and your layers, object layers. We haven't really looked at object layers yet, but when we do, hopefully you'll see why I'm holding back on Terrain Processor. Okay, so we've edited our terrain with Buldozer. We exported the terrain and then re-imported it to refresh the whole project. And now we've drawn shapes around our little feature and filled them with trees. We really have filled them with trees. Okay, so I'm going to save and rebuild terrain. Generate layers. Thought I saw an error in there. Let's see what it says. It hasn't moaned, so okay. Save, and most importantly, file, export WRP to Maps Avebury World. Okay, so Right, should be able to crunch it with my Kiro now. Same settings as before. And crunch 11 seconds, I reckon. Mm, 9 seconds, not bad. And just to explain the batch file that I mentioned last time, it's just simply saying copy from my DayZ game folder at Avebury the add-ons to my local mods folder, which I use for experimental, and to the server itself. So when I say a batch file, it's just doing the copy for me. Okay, so I am going to start the server and see you in game. Right, where are we? How's that? Learn Buldozer.